Alright, you lot, strap in, shut up, and keep your hands away from microtransactions. It's time for full bore, no prisoners review of Battlefield 6. I've spent over 20 hours in trenches, dodging bugs, bagging objectives, and watching COD kids cry. This isn't some influencer wankfest with early access and pre-order bias. This is me, Yorkshire gamer with a limp mouse hand and burning grudge, telling you exactly how this game plays, feels, and fucks up. No filter, no filler, just raw impressions from Frontline. Now, Battlefield 6 didn't launch with a bang. It tripped over its own shoelaces, landed face first in a pile of EA launcher errors, and left me staring at desktop like a withered gamer on Remembrance Day. Day one, didn't even fucking play. EA's app was so busted it made Ubisoft Connect look competent. But credit where it's due, by day two it worked. Mostly. And when it did, I dropped in like a caffeine-starved sniper and got straight to business with my lad backing me up. First thing that smacked me, menu. Like someone tried to recreate a Battlefield UI using IKEA instructions and a broken thumb. It's not worst I've seen, but let's just say if menus were maps, this one would have 3 lanes and a dead end. Still, who gives a toss? You're not here to admire fonts, you're here to shoot things in face. Music? Switched off faster than a reality star's morals. But sound design? Guns, footsteps, explosions, all bang on. Proper meat to it. Even text-to-speech was solid, though hearing it trying to pronounce Kira nearly gave me an aneurysm. Still, feature works. It's actually useful. Shocking, I know. You just have to watch for those wordplay names. Mr. Geriatric is a funny name, but there's some that may border on obscene. Matchmaking? Beautiful. 5 seconds and I'm in. No queue, no skill-based matchmaking sweat prison, just pure chaotic glorious war. Kind where you spawn in, hear gunfire, and immediately get run over by a jeep driven by someone called 420-killer. That's Battlefield. But bit that matters most, pointing, clicking and watching other poor bastard fall over, gunplay in Battlefield 6, solid. Not revolutionary, not groundbreaking, but solid. Weapons all feel like they've got some weight, some grunt, some actual thud to them. I'm not here to sniff barrel attachments or argue muzzle velocity. I shoot, they die, or I do. Job done. Every gun so far feels pretty much same in my hands, and recoil is about what you'd expect. Enough to matter, not enough to ruin your day. No pea shooters, no laser beams, just bullet delivery systems wrapped in military cosplay. Movement though? Bit slow innit? Not awful, not Battlefield 1 dragging your ass through mud levels, but you definitely feel it. You're not bunny hopping like some Apex crackhead, but you can still cover ground without feeling like a pensioner in quicksand. Slide's decent, sprint's fine, vaulting? A little hit or miss depending on angle, but again, not rage-worthy. Netcode? Bit of a mixed bag. I've had a few moments, how fuck did he see me first? But note that made me uninstall or scream into abyss. It's miles better than 2042's launch day nonsense. And while some are reporting proper decent chaos, mine's been more like drunk uncle at Christmas. Unpredictable and tolerable. Bottom line, you can shoot, you can move, most of the time what happens on screen is what actually happened. In a Battlefield game, that alone deserves a fucking medal. Now, maps and modes. Here's where Battlefield 6 starts doing its best COD cosplay. Not full chest wax and TikTok dance routine, but enough to make fanbase twitch. Every map so far has that 3-lane feel, like someone's scared players might get lost without corridors to hold their hands. It's tighter, smaller and designed to keep action close, but let's not kid ourselves. It's a bit too close for comfort. This ain't sprawling chaos of Battlefield 3 or Tactical Playground of Bad Company 2. Nah, this is Battlefield 6 trying to lure over KD addicts who still think slide cancelling is a valid life skill. You can feel it in every layout. Built for pace, built for dopamine, built for TikTok clips, not long-form war stories. But somehow it works. Sorta. For now. There's no one map I love yet, but none I outright despise either. It's just all very Call of Battlefield. Familiar, not iconic. And that's kicker. Battlefield used to be about those holy shit moments. Tanks rolling through buildings, planes dogfighting above skyscrapers, squads pushing across open hellscapes. Nah, it's like playing a fenced-in airsoft arena. Fun? Yeah. Memorable? Not yet. Mods? Monster and bang. Objectives feel solid. And your team player still has teeth if your squad ain't made up of vape chuffing stream snipers. Deathmatch can get into C though, that mode attracts worst kind of human. Ones who run medic, never revive, and just stand there watching teammates bleed out like they're admiring fucking view. I'm an objective player, I play to win. If you're top at KD board but lost match, congrats, you're still a loser. Battlefield rewards team play, always has, always will. And that's why, despite shrinkage and COD-flavoured map pacing, core Battlefield soul is still there, just buried under a pile of unused defibs. This at Biggin, make or break. Is it still Battlefield? Yeah, just about. Despite COD lame map designs and tighter scale, this ain't some cheap knockoff. It still feels like Battlefield. Pacing, chaos, unpredictable moments, all there. You can tell veterans are still in DNA somewhere, probably gagged and locked in basement while marketing team tries to sell battle passes, but they're there. Destruction though? That's where it fumbles. It's been torn down. Not just a bit, we're talking limp-wristed chargers and paper walls where there should be skyscrapers toppling into rubble. Where's full building collapses? Where's massive environmental shifts? Where's sweet moments where you blow a hole into the side of a house and introduce a camper to daylight? It's missing, and I fucking feel it. This should be WoW, not laser tag with themed props. Vehicles are in, sure, tanks, armoured vehicles, odd air support if you're lucky, but even those feel underused. You don't see many jets, and when you do, they're either crashing into mountains or flown by that one sweaty sod who treats every match like a Top Gun audition. Most players avoid them entirely because, let's be honest, Battlefield's flight controls still feel like you're trying to pilot a sofa with a jet engine strapped to it. That said, there is a Portal map for learning air vehicles, built by Tactical Britain lads at Portal Up. And fair play to them, that sort of community level initiative EA should be pushing instead of another limited time event with clown skins. So yeah, it's still Battlefield, but it's a Battlefield that's forgotten how to flatten a city block just to win an objective. And until they bring back full fat destruction, stuff that made Bad Company 2 legendary, it's always going to feel a bit safe. Now here's where Battlefield 6 wipes floor with every twitchy SBMM suffocated slide spamming shooter out there. Balance. Real fucking balance. Not that fake everyone's equal bullshit COD feeds you while hiding fact that if your KD drops, you get thrown into a lobby full of pensioners with arthritis and 200 ping. Nah, Battlefield 6 just tosses you into a pit and says, sort it out lad. And it works. There's no meta weapon ruining every lobby, no one-shot god build that everyone's copying from some twonk on TikTok. You've got your tools, I've got mine, and it all comes down to positioning, decision making, and whether you remember to reload. That's what a shooter should be. That's what Battlefield's always done better. Don't get me wrong, sweats are still here. First few days it were like a COD rehab centre, full of KD junkies running around like they're just mainline G Fuel, bunny hopping into corners and wondering why nobody's handing out kill streaks. But over time, they've been humbled. Battlefield don't care about your movement tech or your cracked aim. One good flank, one missed revive, and you're toast. And they're learning that, painfully. Me? I'm not a stat chaser. Never have been. I'm a low skill, high fun kind of guy. But even I can take down some cocky kill farming knobhead if he overextends. Cause game lets you. That's beauty of it. Skill gap exists. Yeah, it's not locked behind sweaty meta builds or paid power. Just good decisions and better aiming. You want to run around and revive half your squad while under fire? Do it. You want to sneak around and take long route to flank entire squad? You can. This ain't COD's treadmill of misery. Battlefield. And that means even underdog can make a fucking difference. Look, I went into this expecting bugs. It's Battlefield. It's EA. Day one's usually lesser launch day, more a public meltdown. But it's twist. Battlefield 6, surprisingly stable. Not perfect, but stable. And in 2025, that's practically a bloody miracle. I didn't run into any game-breaking monstrosities, no rubber banding across map like a possessed crash test dummy, no dying behind cover 2 seconds after ducking, and no menu bugs that trap me in a server with no HUD, no gun, no will to live. It ran, it played, it works. Yeah, there's odd stutter, some minor desync, few matchmaking hiccups here and there, But not that made me rage quit or start diagnosing packet loss like a depressed IT consultant. In fact, most at launch day bollocks I did run into, like EA app bug, got patched up quick. That alone deserves a confused nod of respect. Let me be honest, I didn't have my QA hat on this time. Switched that off. Hard. I want testing, I want analysing, I was playing like an actual human. Running around like headless chicken, charging into enemy fire, getting domed by snipers cause I refused to look left. And it was fun. Even when I was losing, it was fun. Fun like getting into a private match with my son and watching a medic bot spend 5 minutes straight trying to revive my ghost. Just stood there pumping imaginary life into thin air like some kind of grief-stricken Roomba. It's janky in places. Battlefield always is. But this ain't launch day Battlefield 2042 level of clown show. It's playable. It's enjoyable. Most importantly, don't feel like a tech demo pretending to be a full-price shooter. That alone puts it ahead of half the industry. Now let's talk progression, unlocks and grind. All shit that keeps spreadsheet junkies happy while restarers just want a scope that don't vibrate like a sex toy on impact. Battlefield 6 keeps it pretty straight. No trickery, no formal guillotine hanging over your head every login. You play, you unlock. Want weapon attachments? Use bloody gun. Want new gear? Play it class. It's old school, it's fair, and it doesn't try to sell you a gold-plated shovel every 5 minutes. I got Battle Pass, didn't buy it, didn't even want it. EA booked systems so bad they gave me free compensation. So cheers EA, you finally did something right by cocking something else up. Classic move. But even with that pass, I'm not grinding, I'm not chasing shit I won't use. I'll unlock it all, ignore most of it, use currency to grab next round of cosmetic clutter. Only thing I actually care about are attachments, bits that actually affect gameplay. Rest, pure digital tap. And that's fine. Let Stat Chaser's fate of a rare camo while I'm balancing my gun to make it feel like home. And no, there's no pay to win stink here. No premium operator with a gadget that makes you invisible while it reads your bedtime stories. Everything's earnable. Everything's grindable. And if you've got patience or a Yorkshireman waiting for tea to brew, you'll get there. Battlefield's always had a better grip on progression than its competitors. It don't insult your intelligence. It don't pretend that unlocking a keychain for a gun is content. And in Battlefield 6, they've kept that spirit alive. Just enough to work for. Not you have to chase unless you're the kind of person who 100% tutorial levels for fun. Right off bat, Battlefield 6 feels like WoW. But kinda why you play with Nerf guns after 3 pints. It's got grit. It's got bangs. But it's arcadey as fuck. Don't come here looking for immersion. You won't find it. This ain't Saving Private Ryan. It's more like shouting Sergeant Dave in pub car park. It's got look of war. Soldiers, gear, military lingo, all that. But never fully commits. It's like it's doing a cosplay of seriousness while being held hostage by accessibility features and fun-first gameplay. Not a criticism, just don't expect to feel like you're dodging real bullets. More like you're living in coolest airsoft arena your 13-year-old self ever imagined. And that's fine, as long as it stays here. Don't go chasing that COD clown puke vibe. No neon outfits, no anime gun skins. Don't you fucking dare, EA. Stay grounded, stay military. Even if it's arcade military built for chaos, at least it's recognisable WoW. That's what makes it Battlefield. Lose that, you're just another FPS waiting for servers to die. So after all misfires, botched launches, PR apologies and years of pretending 2042 didn't happen, we finally got a Battlefield that works. More than that, one that feels right, one that plays right, one that's finally kicked COD in dick hard enough to make them rethink their old slide, stim, repeat philosophy. I'm still playing it, not out of obligation, not cause of sunk cost, but cause it's actually fun. That's rare, that's precious, and in this industry, that's practically a bloody revolution. It's best COD since Black Ops 3, and it's not even a COD, which tells you everything you need to know about COD in 2025. But it's not perfect, far from it. We're still missing Battlefield moments. 128 player carnage, skyscrapers falling like dominoes, no man's land turning into actual fucking no man's land. I want those massive drawn out fights with vehicles, destruction, so much smoke you can barely see your own boots. Vince Ampella, mate, you legend. You've steered this ship out at flaming wreckage and got it moving again. But we need more. Gears of mode with classic style maps. Gears those full-scale battles where no is left standing by end. Gears Battlefield that terrified consoles and made PCs weep. You bring that back? Players will crawl over broken servers just to log in. Right now, Battlefield 6 is a bloody good shooter in a sea of lifeless clones, but it could be a legend. And if they play the cards right, if they listen, if they stop chasing trends and double down on what makes Battlefield, this could be one that puts them right at top for good. So there you have it, Battlefield 6, shooter we didn't expect, from publisher we don't trust, delivering fun we all forgot existed. Not flawless, it's not perfect, but it's real. And in 2025, that makes it rarer than an honest influencer. If you're still sat there wondering if it's worth it, it is. Get in, grab a rifle, blow someone up, or revive a teammate and watch them get domed 2 seconds later. That's Battlefield. That's chaos. That's magic. Like, subscribe and all that bollocks. Drop your comments and questions below. Tell me your worst match, your best squad moment, or just rage about EA in full caps if you're that way inclined. I read everything, even nonsense, especially nonsense. And I'll see you next time, you magnificent